Hispanics are causing panic, baby. Let's do it.
Panic causing panic. Lascano.
Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me. The rest of the panel here on Archive. Hit my like button. If you're listening right now on Archive, share this video on all your social media platforms. Been joined by Chief Monkey. Second half of HCP, that is Hispanics causing panic. I am your host, D-Style, of course. I'm joined also by Maestro and Joe Abib from Ringside Reporter. Shout out to the chat from Andre Rodriguez, A-Rod, D, the GOAT, Mike, Biggs, Boxing, Chris Sam, Mr. Sinister, LTE Desmadre, Alexis LL, Round 1, H Money, Mr. DAZN, EJ Boxing Live, and Round 1. All you guys, how's it going? I hope you're doing good. How's the panel doing? How you guys doing? Are you pumped?
Very well, D-Cell. Yep, absolutely pumped.
Arriba, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Arriba. So today we'll be joined by Hanna Gabriels. Recently won light heavyweight championship, okay, in the women's ranks. And, of course, also by top 168-pounder, that's super middleweight, David Benavidez, La Bandera Roja. So stay tuned. That will be in the second hour. And all that. Hit the like button, by the way. You know what I mean? I want to see some likes. It's easy. It's free. And it supports the channel. All that good stuff. And all that, let's get started with the good, which is me, of course. You know what I mean? The bad, which is a milk car with that freaking crazy ass thing, and the ugly. I'm not going to mention which one, but here's what I'll say. All right, let's start off with G Funky, the one and the only. Okay, second half of HCP. G Funky, talk to us, man. Give us your good of the boxing weekend.
The good for me would have to be the PBC card. Overall, was a really good card. I felt like all three fights that they showed were very entertaining. So that would be my good of the weekend.
All right, absolutely. Okay, right. Hey, Beeb, what is the good of the weekend for the Beeb?
For me, I enjoyed the Luis Neri, Brandon Figueroa fight. I thought that was a great fight. I think the bad was the undercard was very uneventful. And the ugly is all the BS that's been going on with this whole Wilder Fury Joshua situation, all the deception that's been going on. And I feel like the fans have been taken for a long ride.
All right. I mean, we're not there yet. We're still on the good, but man, he's already distraught. I mean, the Beeb's already, I know it's getting to it, but hey, Milcar, what is the good of the boxing weekend for you? And chat, you tell me your good of the weekend as well.
I mean, I felt that the good was the Brandon Figueroa performance. I mean, I thought I was pretty clear in that he'd give him a good fight. He did. He actually did better than I thought he would. He knocked him out, man. The bad, let's be honest, Luis Neri was not looking good as soon as he stepped on the scales last week, Friday. It didn't look like he was properly conditioned for this fight. It showed that he wasn't during the fight. And the ugly, let me read you a quote, or actually a title from an article courtesy of Boxing Scene. Warren hopes Wilder takes less than $20 million to step aside. That's ugly, man. That's ugly.
Oh, wow. Hey, Chief Funky, what is your bad of the weekend, brother?
Well, it was a mix of, I didn't know which one to put as ugly and bad. Both are pretty messed up, but I'm going to have to go with, as far as the bad, those fans down there again in Carson, California, they booed my guy Xavier Martinez, who's from Sacramento, California, who got the good win, put on a good performance. You know, he could have made the fight less entertaining than it was. He could have just boxed all night long. But no, he sat on the inside, exchanged shots with this guy. I thought he beat him 7 rounds to 3. That was a clear win for him. And those fans booed again. They did the same thing to Andy Ruiz a couple weeks ago. So those guys got to get their stuff together, man. I don't know what's going on down there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can you give us your ugly of the weekend as well, Chief Funky?
Well, I'd have to agree with Joe Habib on this one. The ugly has definitely been the heavyweight division and all the madness that's going on up there. Disappointed that we're not going to see Undisputed. But here's the thing. We got Undisputed this weekend and another fight in July. So it is what it is, man. I moved on.
Hey, Chief Funky has moved on. You know, look, man, I think the good for me is who I felt, and I might be a minority in this, was the best fighter of the weekend, had the best performance of the weekend. That's Danny Roman. I think he looked great. It's shades of Marquez out there. That the uppercut was on fire. The hook was on fire. He was sharp like a razor blade, and I think we saw that given his opponent's face. You know, some may say, you know, maybe there's not enough power there, but at the end of the day, if you get the job done, you get the job done. So that's what I'll say about good. As far as the bad, for me, it's definitely, you know, getting fans excited for an Undisputed fight. Didn't include me, but a lot of people got very, very excited and got their hopes up. And I feel like that's taking advantage of people. You know what I mean? That's taking advantage of people, getting people excited about a fight, Tyson Fury, that you know you couldn't say 100%. Right? We all know there's a 100% curse around here. You say something's 100%, then we know it's not going to happen. It's not. The only time it's 100% is when two guys are in the ring and the bell's about to ring. That's the only time a fight is 100% to happen. Even in the league, we've seen fights get canceled the week of the fight. How are you going to say it's in 100% certainty? Right? You should have said 80%, 90%. You should have been you're very, 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 you know what I mean, and all that good stuff. But anyway, the ugly of the weekend is the way boxing fans have been acting so petty. And I got to call out both sides. I got to call out the Deontay Wilder fanboys. And I got to call out a lot of, you know, other fans that are being very delusional as well. And both sides being very hypocritical. All right. Look, at the end of the day, what happened when Andy Ruiz had an opportunity to fight Deontay Wilder for Undisputed? Right? Oh, no, he has a contract. He needs to fight. He needs to give the rematch to AJ, right? A lot of Wilder fans, and look, I'm always for Undisputed, no matter who it is. I don't play favorites like that, okay? I was for Undisputed then, too. But a lot of Wilder fans, all right, were saying that look, if you're AJ and Hearn are the bad guys, you're not letting us get Undisputed, right? That's what they were saying then. Keep the same energy is all I'm asking, because that's not what you're saying now. Now you're saying that he's got to fight Wilder and honor the contract, but that's not what you were saying then. That's not what you were saying when Andy Ruiz had a rematch clause with Joshua, right? So that's we got to keep that honest. And now, when things have come full circle, where are we now? We are in a situation where, you know, you have some Fury fans and boxing fans angry at Wilder, but many of them, I'm sorry, you did not have the same energy then. You just didn't. So now Wilder is the bad guy. Look, I don't condone Glovegate. I don't buy into that. I don't think Fury cheated. I don't think he had an egg weight in his glove. But at the end of the day, I mean, we got to keep it real, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, like we need to separate what he's contractually obligated to do to Glovegate. We need to separate those two things, right? You don't have to like Wilder, but at the end of the day, he's doing the same thing Joshua did after he lost to Andy Ruiz. He's doing the same thing. He's exercising his right to the rematch he's contractually obligated to. Point blank period. Those are my thoughts on that. So let's go ahead and segue to the arbitration won by Deontay Wilder. All right. And I want to know what you guys in the chat think. Let them know what you think, of course. Hit the like button. G. Garcia, Chicano Prophet, the GOAT, Annalie Jaramillo. How are you all doing? And I see Chief Funky doing double duty in the chat, all that good stuff. DG, how are you? Alex M. Fresco 916 in the building. All right. And T. White, that's the fight doctor, giving a shout out to Maestro. Well, shout out to you, brother. Andre Rodriguez, how are you? Maestro, talk to us. Wilder won the arbitration. So now it doesn't seem likely that we're going to get Undisputed. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I was one of the few people out there. Joe Habib was the leader of this group, talking about the skepticism that this fight would take place. We didn't think it would take place. We were not confident that it would take place for a number of reasons. Where I deviated from Joe was in the area of the arbitration. From the very beginning, Joe Habib was telling us about legal terms like force majeure, and that there were plenty of reasons why an independent judge, member of the American Arbitration Association, would essentially say that, look, the guy was injured. That's a reason to prolong the contract. There's COVID-19. It's a global pandemic. That's a reason to prolong the contract. So he didn't only have one reason to get the contract prolonged. He had two reasons. And believe it or not, they were both legitimate reasons. But unfortunately for me, I was one of the people who was so obviously excited and positive about this unification, undisputed fight taking place, that I kind of just dismissed it and said, you know what? Yeah, Bob Arum, he's a lawyer, Harvard Law, all of this good stuff. If he says it's a frivolous argument, then obviously it's a frivolous argument. Little did I know that Bob Arum has nothing on Joe Habib and Associates over there at Habib Industries. So I got to give Joe Habib and partners all credit on this one. In retrospect, we should have all waited for the arbitration to conclude before we made our final judgments on whether this fight would be taking place or not. And, it's like egg on these guys' faces. Fury comes out. Hearn's been saying it for weeks, months. Bob Arum finally says it's signed, and then boom, very next day, we see reports that it didn't get out of arbitration. So right now, the only path forward is to pay off Wilder, and who knows if that could even happen, or we're back to, can this fight even take place in an arena in the middle of the summer?
Absolutely. Well said. Hey, by the way, shout out to Sonteo. This is the Sonteo clipboard. And look at the Four Kings. I don't think Maestro Beeb and or G-Funky have a Sonteo media clipboard. I just don't. You know what I mean? I could be wrong. I don't know. Beeb, talk to us, brother. What are your thoughts on this arbitration being won by Wilder? Are you shocked? Are you surprised? We know the answer, but I'm still going to ask you, though. Are you surprised?
Absolutely not. I'm not surprised in the least bit. And Bob Arum is smarter than a lot of people think. He was a former lawyer. I have a hard time believing, and this is just my opinion. I'm being a little skeptical here of Bob Arum not knowing that this was going to happen. I always said that I don't believe that Bob Arum ever wanted this fight with Joshua in Saudi Arabia. I always felt as though he felt more comfortable giving Fury a fight in between because he's been off for so long. And a lot of things that Arum had going against him here in regards to this arbitration was he did too many interviews. And he kept saying, we want to put this fight in front of a live crowd. And it's almost as if, it's not even almost as if, strike that last comment. He intentionally stalled this out because he wanted to wait for the country to reopen so he could put Wilder Fury 3 in front of a live crowd. Now, the Beeb, why? What's the upside to that? Why wouldn't he just want to go into the Joshua fight for an easier fight? Or excuse me, for a bigger money fight? Well, the reason being is, you're going to fight a guy who's been off just as long as you are, Tyson Fury and Wilder, both off at the same amount of time. Wilder's coming off an injury. This is a guy that arguably you already beat twice. You got this guy's number. So it's an easier fight, presumably, number one. And number two, it's going to be a pretty lucrative fight in its own right, right? So why not grab the money with Wilder and then later grab the money with Joshua? Because history has shown us, for the most part, there has been some bumps in the road, Gamboa and Wama, but for the most part, when these fights do get delayed, the longer they get delayed, the bigger monetarily they become. So if this fight happens next year, it's only going to be bigger. So why not scoop up that Wilder payday, get Fury back in the ring off of the long layoff, fighting another guy who's coming off of a long layoff, right? And it's going to be the biggest fight of the year. It's not going to be Joshua Fury, but again, I don't want to go off topic here, but I'm still skeptical on whether or not they really had that money over in Saudi, but that's another topic altogether. But regardless, I think Bob Arum wins here. He's going to be the lead promoter. He doesn't have to deal with anyone else. Obviously, Al Heyman's the advisor, but it's going to be a top-ranked promoted show because Fury's the titleist, he's the A-side, and it's going to be all Arum's way here, and all Fury's way here for the most part. So I think Bob Arum is the winner here. I think Bob Arum has total control here. And people say, well, why leave money on the table? A lot of times people value power over money. Now, Bob Arum has control here. Frank Warren, he's kind of in between, but either way, he doesn't win or he doesn't lose because he's going to be dealing with Fury on the UK side of things. But Bob Arum is the big winner here. And I think he pulled the wool over everybody's eyes and he played everybody.
Well said. Well said. Chief Funky, what are your thoughts on this arbitration being won by Wilder and everyone's reaction to it?
Well, I'll say this as far as everyone's reaction. It's to me, it's a really sad day when fight fans, or quote unquote fight fans, I should say, of boxing, are celebrating the fact that a Undisputed, one of the biggest events that we've had in quite some time, is not going to happen. Like, that's just, I don't understand that mentality. Too many fanboys in out there these days. It's sad, man. We need a big event like this. I've been saying this since the beginning of the year that we need more big events. We need super fights. Fighting for the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship of the world is a super fight. So that's very disappointing. Now, as far as the arbitration goes, look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer. And you guys all know that I've been following me here for quite some time. I don't like to get involved in the business side of boxing. I was going off what these guys were saying, that, the arbitration wouldn't be in the way. It would just be compensation for damages. Turns out they weren't being honest about that, and they led us astray. We've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, as Malcolm X would say, and it's unfortunate, man. It's very unfortunate. But the thing is this, you guys know I've said this. I'm all right. I think Wilder definitely deserves a third fight because the first fight was even though most people think Fury won that fight. Nobody won that fight officially. Fury dominates him, stops him in the rematch. So, yeah, I'm good with a third fight. I would just rather see Undisputed first, because that's what I'm all about here. Like, I love Undisputed. It clears up everything. I think it helps clear things up, especially for fans that are wanting to get back on board with boxing. There's too many belts. It's hard to explain to casuals who the champion is in every division when there's 4 damn belts. When we have a situation here where one guy could have the belt and at the biggest division that we have. So it's just disappointing, but it is what it is, man. And like I said, we got 2 official Undisputed fights happening, one this Saturday, one in July, hopefully one in September with Canelo and Plant. So I'm moving on to those things, man. The heavyweights, they can go fuck off for all I care at this point.
Damn, man. Well, how you follow that one up? But here's what I'll say, though. I want Undisputed. I want to make sure people understand that my preference, what I want first in any division, right, is Undisputed. And I've been consistent about that for years. That has not changed. I wanted Undisputed when Andy Ruiz had the belt and he was a PBC, the belts, I should say, and Wilder was there. I wanted them to fight so we could have one champion. Okay. Now, obviously, was I mad at AJ because AJ wanted to get him back? No. You know what I mean? I didn't take it personal on AJ. I'm not going to take it personal on Wilder. I already said I have my gripes about Glovegate and all that, but putting that aside, I mean, you did sign a contract for 2 fights, bro. You know what I mean? And if I'm AJ, even if you're AJ, right, why would you agree to 2 fights with Fury if, like, he might not even fight you a second time? Like, you have to, like, think about that. Like, he's almost has to honor this 3rd fight, in my opinion. And I think they wasted a lot of times. I think circumstances got in the way. COVID got in the way. Things out of everybody's control and all that. But I'm disappointed that there's going to be no Undisputed. But the trilogy is a good alternative for me. I've been openly saying that. I've been doing this. I've been letting you guys know. All right. I've been letting you know I'm not doing this because I'm the 1, 2, 3 kid now. Right? I'm doing this because I'm letting you guys know when you're talking about Undisputed all gleefully. I'm like, hey, yo, you know what I mean? I'm just saying there's some unfinished business there. And a lot of these fights have to happen anyway. Like, Usyk's got to get his shot anyway. He's in the mix. Right? Boxing is a sport that never stops moving anyway. So at the end of the day, Usyk's waiting for his shot. I say Joshua, fight him. Wilder, you know, he's owed another fight. So just go ahead and do it. Let's get this out of the way so they're a non-issue. And for those worried, for those saying like, but what if Wilder knocks out Fury or Usyk beats Joshua? Oh, well. That's life. Like, you know what I mean? You may not always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you'll get what you need. Like, at the end of the day, it's like that in all sports, right? Sometimes we want the Super Bowl to beat these 2 teams, and another team swoops in and pulls the upset, and we don't get what we want. Oh, well. All right? If Wilder knocks Fury out, your perception of Wilder is going to change overnight. You know, if that I don't think it's going to happen, but if that happens, okay, it will change. If Usyk beats Joshua, everyone's going to have to admit he's a lot better than you thought he was, right? So your perception of Usyk's going to change. At one point, the fight to see was Fury-Wilder. That was just a couple years ago. That was a fight everybody said was ruined. You know, what if Fury beats him? It's going to ruin that fight. Well, what happened? Fury won, so now the fight to make was Fury versus AJ, right? If Wilder knocks him out, guess what? AJ Fury is just as big as it was a couple years ago. Yes, Wilder won't be undefeated anymore, but he would defeat the guy that defeated him. Redemption. People love a comeback story. So that's all I got to say about that. Those are my thoughts on it. Shout out to Loyal Roots. Go to loyalroots.com. That is our sponsor, loyalroots.com. Great apparel, all right, up there and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? You know, and all that. Okay. Now, as far as the fans being petty out here, man, it shit smells like this. Okay. That's all I got to say about that, to be honest with you guys. Okay.
Let me just
let's talk. Go ahead.
One quick comment. I think we have to mention, though, that the fans that are most concerned about this are the British fans. Like, we're out here in the United States. It's a little bit less important to us if Fury fights Usyk or if Joshua fights Wilder. I think it was really important for the British fans, English fans, that the Undisputed be between Fury and Joshua.
I mean, I get that, you know what I mean? But guess what? If they are the 2 best heavyweights in the world, Usyk and Wilder aren't going to stop that. You know, so that's my only message. If they really are the 2 best in the world, you shouldn't be sweating. No Usyk. You shouldn't be sweating no Wilder, in my opinion. Hey, Big Dog Willis says Karma's undefeated. Fury learned the hard way, he says. All right. Shout out to Big Dog Willie. That's his opinion. JC says, hola, Tracy. All right. In the ring with Christine in the building, everybody. Shout out to Christine. Shout out to JC. Loyal Roots in the building as well. How's it going? She's got a profit. If it's the 3rd fight, I want to see ASAP with no hang-ups, and hey, that's my thing. You know, people are saying, "Oh, he should go appeal it." Like, bro, by the time you appeal it, by the time they get a hearing going, by the time you might as well just fight the guy. All right,
you can't appeal an arbitration ruling. You can't.
Okay, well there you go. All right, so there you go. All right, Tracy Boxer Girl on here. How's it going? And LTE Desmadre. Let's talk about a big fight here.
Time to move on, exactly. And shout out to Beeb and Associates for calling this one a long time ago.
I'm not proud of it. Thank you, though. I'm not proud of it, though.
You're not proud of it, but
I have to bring the truth.
He doesn't want to pat himself in the back anymore. It's going to break his spine. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It gets old.
No Barry Horowitz, huh?
All I did was read my law books.
Yeah. Hey, guys, let's talk about the fight this coming weekend. And make no mistake about it, guys. We're going to have a whole line. We're going to talk about it in the roundtable and censor the whole nine because it is a fight that deserves attention. We're putting a lot of attention on a fight that's not going to happen. What about the fight that is going to happen this coming weekend? We got Taylor. We got Ramirez. By the way, both guys have done the equal amount of work to get there. Both guys have 2 belts. Okay. Both guys have tested themselves. Both of them have gone through the trials and tribulations of showing the boxing world that they are the real truth. And both of them have, without problems, this fight literally got done. I didn't hear any negotiation complaints. I didn't see any of these 2 guys bring it out to the public, asking for more money. I didn't see Ramirez talking about his life. Okay. I didn't see Taylor talking about his health. Got to see Ramirez talking about his dreams and all the, you know what they said? They're like, yeah, I could beat that dude. Put him in the ring. Okay. Put that dude in there. I could beat him. That's what both of them said. And that's what we like to see out of boxing, boxers. And, we have a lot of channels out here, by the way, that it's their opinion, but all they do all day is talk about there's no fights in boxing. And look at, we're not going to get AJ versus Fury. This is the problem with boxing. And we literally have an undisputed bout. Both of them got 2 straps each. It's about to go down. We're about to get it, ladies and gentlemen. We got Tater. Okay, what is his nickname? The Tartarian or what tornado? Whatever his nickname is. Okay,
Triple T.
Well, there you go. So we got him. We got Ramirez. Okay, I want to start with you, Chief Funky. Talk to us about this fight. What this fight means to you as a boxing fan, and how do you see it?
This fight means everything to me as a boxing fan. Again, this is going to clear up everything in the division, okay? I don't want to hear no more nonsense about Mario Barrios being the real WBA champ. No, that's BS, all right? The real champions are the guys that are fighting this Saturday in that division, okay? So don't get it twisted, all right? And look, I'm going to say this, and I've said this already. I'm rooting for Ramirez to win this fight. I'm not even going to break it down. I just flat out, I'm rooting for him, and I want him to win. He's from my area. He does a lot of things in his community that's very dear to my heart. My family was involved in a lot of the same movements back in the 60s and the 70s, the Chicano movements here in California, to get these farm workers' rights, to get these big companies who weren't treating them right, were spraying them with pesticides while they were out there in the fields picking grapes for these wineries back in the day. My family was involved in that. They fought for that. They went through hell, and the fact that this guy's out there putting that cause on the map. I seen him on the Blood, Sweat, and Tears a thing that they had on ESPN. He's literally out there talking to these people while they're working, and it's very, very good. It's a good thing to see, man. I love it, and I'm rooting for him to win. Now, as far as the fight goes, I do think it's a good fight. Both guys are very big for the division, and both guys are very strong. I really think that Ramirez is going to get the job done, though, man. I think he's a harder puncher. I think he's better on the inside. Taylor, he's good. I just don't think he's as good as a lot of his fans think, and we're going to find out Saturday, man. So I'm going with Ramirez. War Ramirez. Let's go, baby.
War Ramirez, Beeb. Talk to us. Taylor Ramirez, 140 pounds, undisputed.
I think it's more than just this fight being undisputed, but it's more about these 2 fighters that are involved in this matchup because they're the epitome of what a boxer should be. Both of these guys come from humble beginnings. I know we heard the story before, but these guys are dedicated fighters. They live the life. They're hard workers. They're trained to the fullest of their ability. You never hear any negative stories about either guy outside the ring. So that in itself adds to this fight. And not only that, because of how these guys fight, these guys are proven warriors in the ring, without question. So what makes it even more enticing and more exciting is the fact that it's a can't miss fight. When you put these two styles, it's just a can't miss. And I don't want to go on too long because I talked about it earlier and we're going to talk about it Thursday, but I'm just going to say this. Ramirez is very underrated. Oh, well, he can be outboxed. Yes, in spots, but you can only box him for so long until that pressure wears you down and you have to fight him off you. He puts just about everybody in that same position at some point in the fight, and that's the make or break moment for that opponent. And more often than not, they break. So you'll have some success in spots. You'll maybe outbox him in spots, but what's very underrated is his ability to apply pressure, and it's smart pressure because he comes forward, he moves his head, he gets low, he gets compact, he throws feints, and when he's on the inside, it's hard to hit him clean. It's hard to hit him flush. It's one thing getting hit, but there's another thing taking damage. You can be getting hit, but not really taking significant damage. That's going to be the difference in this fight because both guys are hittable, but one guy, in my opinion, takes less damage, and the other guy really doesn't.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
To sum it up in a nutshell, I'm in 100% agreement with G Funky, and I think the story of this fight is going to be on the inside because Josh Taylor, as good as everyone says he is as a boxer, he always ends up finding his way on the inside. Happened in the Prograis fight, and shockingly enough, Prograis was winning some of those skirmishes on the inside, which I did not think he was going to do. So if Prograis can hold his own on the inside, imagine what a bigger, stronger Ramirez is going to do on the inside. So I think Ramirez is going to stop Josh Taylor in the 10th round.
Oh, whoa. Hey, Maestro, how do you see this fight? And are you excited for this fight? Are you pumped?
Well, it's funny because I was talking on the phone earlier with G Funky, and we were talking about none other than the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah, the Macho Man. And this is a fight between two guys that are macho guys. They got a lot of machismo. They're gonna go to the middle of the ring and go toe to toe. Josh Taylor has made it clear that that's what he also likes to do. That's what he did against Prograis. He has no problems doing that. It's funny because I think that both of these guys have been underrated for a lot of their careers. And it's interesting saying that, considering that, they're both fighting for the undisputed title. And in Josh Taylor's case, he's doing that in only his 18th fight. But going in to the tournament, and I'm talking about the World Boxing Super Series tournament, I don't remember a lot of people saying that Josh Taylor was going to win that tournament. I really don't. He surprised a lot of people with his performance against Ivan Baranchyk. I mean, he iced that dude when that dude was looking, brolic and I'm not going to say indestructible, but this is way before Zepeda got to him. And obviously he then beat Prograis, and a lot of people don't necessarily think he won that fight, but I don't think anyone can make the argument that it wasn't a close fight that could have gone either way. And now he's taking on Ramirez. My take on this fight is going to be closer. I'm going to leave it until Thursday. But what I will say is that it's linked to a topic that I was discussing with Joe on his live earlier today. And I'll get into that a little bit later on Thursday. But what I will say right now is that it's going to be a good fight. Two highly skilled guys, two guys that have been underrated for most of their careers, two guys that love to go to battle and test themselves, two guys from humble beginnings, And let's not forget, Scotland's in the UK, but it's not England. Scottish people have that underdog mentality already, much in the way that, the people from Jose Ramirez's background do as well. Like, he's literally the underdog story. He embodies that. His community is the story of an underdog community. I'm very excited about this fight. My biggest disappointment about this fight so far has been the total lack of promotion. Going into this year and the New Year's special that we did, I listed this as the fight I wanted to see the most all year. Probably along with Fury Joshua, but I wasn't as convinced that fight would take place. And ESPN and Top Rank have just totally dropped the ball on it. I mean, they've delivered us these 2 promo specials at this week and late last week. Too little, too late.
Well said, brother. Shout out to Long Live Boxing. Shout out to you on here, man. Frank Yeager, LT Boxing Desmadre. Stay here, guys. We're going to have Hanna Gabriels. Also, David Benavidez on here as well. And all that good stuff. Now, this fight, I'll just give you guys a really condensed version, and we'll get deeper in the breakdown. We're going to talk about it the rest of the week. But what I will say is this, and this is what I want to hammer home. Okay, I do believe this is a 50-50 fight. I do believe either guy can win this fight. Okay, but I'm going to go with Ramirez, all right? And I think the ones underestimating the other side is definitely the Taylor fans. Taylor fans are telling me and G-Funky that like he struggled with Postal. Man, if Taylor fought Postal, he'll destroy him in 3-4 rounds. Little did they know he already fought Postal. 7th round. I keep hearing people say he's never been hurt. 7th round. Amilcar, check out the private chat, by the way. 7th round. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. That's all I need to say. 7th round. Stop saying he's never been hurt. It's factually not true. He was hurt. He was in another street, and it was in Main Street. All right? And the street wasn't straight. I'm just saying. Okay? So that's all I got to say about that one. All right? But I want to make sure you guys understand that I don't believe, that's how he looked, that I don't believe this is an easy fight for Taylor whatsoever. And by saying that, if he does make it an easy fight, I'll be shocked. I'll be surprised, right? Oh, but Postal, give him a tough fight. Postal gives everybody a tough fight, including Josh Taylor, okay? Yes, Josh Taylor dropped him, but at the end of the day, he was hurt in the 7th round. And I think credit to Taylor, and all that. But at the end of the day, I have Ramirez winning this fight, possibly by decision. I wanted to say KO, but I'm not as brave as Beeb. You know what I mean? I'm not, I'm taking the easy kind of.
I'll tell you a secret on Thursday. You may change your mind.
All right.
Tuesday.
So you guys got to stay tuned for the round table to get the more thorough breakdowns. You know what I mean? But
2 secrets on Thursday.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about him some more. Probably tomorrow on Uncensored too. Everybody tune into Uncensored T-Funky Boxing every Wednesday. Subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to Ringside Reporter. Right, and subscribe to Maestro Y. He's got a channel too. You know what I mean? So we could support each other. Make sure you guys hit my like button. Let's get it to 40 likes ASAP. You know what I mean? We got 40 people on here. No need we shouldn't have 40 likes now. Okay, so let's hit the like button and all that good stuff. LT, does mother, how's it going? And look, I see a difference of opinion. This is the definition of 50-50 fight. A 50-50 fight isn't when you believe it's 50-50. 50-50 is when 50% of people are going for this guy and 50% of people are going for this guy. That's a 50-50 fight. All right. I've been saying that for a while. All right. And all that. Anybody want to add anything to this?
No, I just want to say again, you're right. A lot of these Taylor fans were coming at us last year saying this stuff about how he would have dominated Postal, yet they don't even realize that the man fought him already and was almost knocked out in that 7th round, okay? He was almost out of there, guys. Don't give me that stuff, all right?
No disrespect to Taylor, but, who are these fans? I don't think I've ever met a Josh Taylor fan, to be honest with you.
Oh, I have.
It's
not a good experience, buddy.
I'm not in Scotland, so.
Yeah, it's not a good experience.
Yeah.
Well, I hope Top Rank takes these styles advice. I mean, for those that haven't seen it, I mean, first of all, you should, if you're a boxing fan, watch Gomez versus Salvador Sanchez. Okay, Wilfredo Gomez against Salvador Sanchez, Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Great fight. Sanchez came out on top, but you know that was an amazing win for him, and it's a hell of a fight. But you know, for those that haven't, you know, you got to watch the introduction. Don't just watch it from ding ding round one. You got to watch it from the beginning. You know what I mean? The walkouts, you know, salsa bands against the mariachi bands, you know, they go at it, all that. I think Don King did a great job. Probably the best promoter ever, by the way, in terms of promoting fights and putting on shows for the fans. But, and you could tell me, oh, but he was corrupt. Well, yes, so are all of them, I guess, you know. But I hope they do the pipe bands and the mariachi bands. I mean, I hope Top Rank, I mean, at least gives us that. You know what I mean? Who wins that battle, G Funky?
Oh, the mariachis win that battle, that's for sure. Although, if I could be unbiased, you know, I do think that the salsa band beat the mariachis in the Sanchez Gomez matchup. I just feel like they went a little bit harder in that one.
You're not a Rowdy Piper guy, G Funky?
Not unless Piper's walking out with him, no.
Piper's pit.
What do you think? I know Beef's going to go for the mariachis for sure. You know what I mean?
Orale. Of course.
Instead of saying arriba, you know, and all that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But the salsa band was okay. I don't think they beat the mariachis, but
Mariachis is the best.
You know, I think the mariachis had it. You know, what I mean, the salsa band, you know, they had a lot of instruments. I'll give them that. You know what I mean? So,
well, they got that African percussion, man. You got the congas and the bongos, man. You can't beat that.
Yeah,
little cowbell.
Now,
you know.
Well, wait on our guest. I want to ask you guys, what did you think about Daniel Roman? We had him, you know, 2 weeks ago here on HCP. He's saying, you know, he's owed a title shot. He said Figueroa was a voluntary for Neri. I'm his mandatory. Like, I'm owed a shot. I know they're talking about fighting Fulton, but I'm owed my shot. Do you think he gets a shot before the Fulton fight? Do you think no. Do you think he had any stroke at all?
No.
Well, hold on to that thought. We already have our guest, you know. So the one and the only Hanna Gabriels. How are you doing?
Blessings to you all. Thank you for having me. I just want to say hi to all of you. Thank you. All the blessings to you, my boys.
Hey, absolutely. The pride of Costa Rica, the new WBC, WBA, okay, light heavyweight champion of the world. How's that sound?
It is crazy stuff. But I'm loving it. I am very happy because after, I don't know, maybe 10 years of being the super welter champion, to have another set of goals ahead, it is very exciting. And so I'm just willing to give myself the opportunity to, you know, pursue all of them. And I am very lucky and privileged.
Absolutely. Like, the one thing I wanted to ask you was, how did the weight feel for you? Like, was it easier than you thought? Was it a little difficult at some point in the fight? Because, I mean, you were at super welterweight, now you're at light heavyweight. How was that experience fighting at that weight?
Well, I'm usually walking in 180, something like that, when I'm not really training. And I usually have to go down about 25 pounds to go into super welterweight. And at this point, when we decided to move to the heavyweight division, we were about a month away from the fight. Prior to this, the Clarissa fight against DeCare was going to happen. And I was really upset that they were able to kind of make me invisible as a champion in 154, and, you know, just call this event as an undisputed historic kind of thing. And a lot of people thought that I was mad, or that I was yeah, that I was mad at the WBA for this, but the truth about it is that many of the sanction bodies go around the rules when it comes to benefit a fighter or an event that deserves it or need it. And I understand that because when I fought Clarissa at 160, that was in my division, and they gave me my loss, um, the belt should have been striped from me. The WBO did that, but the WBA didn't. So when it came to this event, I believe that the WBA understood what was the context, because even for the people that knows boxing and is involved in boxing, we know that this wasn't right. But the truth about it is that Clarissa represents a lot worldwide, and they wanted to honor what this event will mean for young girls and little girls, you know? And so I understood that they, brought me down to the regular status, as the champion as a regular status, and left that super championship belt um, vacant so that she could fight it. At the beginning, like I said, I was upset and I was mad, and then when I really thought about it, I felt like how do you say when you get a compliment? Um, I felt
Like
Flattered,
compliments?
flattered. You felt flattered.
Flattered?
I felt flattered because the
Okay.
truth about it is that I don't think this is a Clarissa kind of thing, because I believe that she has my same uh, um, desire to prove that I am just as good and great and all of that. But I know that her team did
Right.
know what were the risks that I represented, right? And so she could have fought the care and then fight me. And if they thought that she could win, then it would have happened like that. Or she could have fight me and then the care. And if she was that good, and if she was still going to win, she will get her undefeated title. But they knew that I represented the higher risk, and that she might have not be able to touch that undisputed recognition. So my team and I, we decided before that fight to move into heavyweight. I was the I When I became a champion, a world boxing champion, I became in 2009 in 147. Then I went to 154, and I remained there for 10 years. So my goals right now is to dominate 175,
Right.
the light heavyweight, and then go to 168 and fight the heavy hitting diva, which I believe she's going to unify very soon.
Okay.
And I don't know, whoever is there, and then go to 160, and then Clarissa will have no other option. Then she can run no more. I will
Uh-oh.
have I will have more credentials than her. In my She calls me old and weak and small and all of this, and I will, if I am able to um uh make this all happen, all of her words and all of the things that she had said will not matter. I
Oh,
will still be able to do the same that she did and more, being older, weaker, smaller. And I can just wait for that moment. I'm excited.
wow. Now, just are you gonna vacate the heavyweight title? I know it's a WBC heavyweight, but it's a WBA light heavy. Are you gonna still hold on to the heavyweight title? Are you open to having a heavyweight fight or anything like that?
They are allowing me to keep it with both, to keep it both.
Okay.
So
All right.
I wanted to fight Danielle Perkins, and I wanted to fight Tigre Jimenez from Mexico, and I wanted to fight Giovanna Perez, which is from New Zealand, and she was the champion for the WBO, but apparently she's retired from boxing and she's doing kickboxing. So I heard that Clarissa wasn't able to sell a lot of the pay-per-views for her last fight. And I believe that people is getting tired of the same old. And so she said that she was going to MMA, and apparently Showtime is taking a pause for women's boxing, which affects us all, because I believe even if they have tried to make Clarissa as the face of women boxing, the truth about it is that there's so many faces, and there's so many great women working and giving their all, and actually bringing, the entertaining to the canvas, that I believe is unfair that we have to, that we are depending on that. So because Danielle Perkins is in of Mark Taffet and Salida Promotions stable, it seems like it will not happen like right now. But my promoter knows and my manager knows that I want to fight everybody, and I know that every boxer says that, and it not many times is true. But the thing about me is that I have never desired to be the champion or in undisputed champion on all weights and all that. I just really wanted to be the best boxer that I could be, because I never had an amateur career. I only had one fight as an amateur, and so everything that I have been evolving is been through my path in the professional ground. And there's so much work to do. I feel that I am in diapers, but right now I'm starting to feel that everything that my husband and I have been working on for 4 years, which is pretty much um, assume a lot of what his boxing style is coming alive right now. And I'm excited to see how far this will get me. I always say that I work with excellence each day to see where that excellence could take me. And I believe that right now I'm in the best moment of my life when it comes to the technical matter. And so I just want to um, perfection it and see if I am able to fight bigger girls. And, because one of the questions that we had for this fight was, well, we had 2 years of inactivity, and I had a big injury in my back. I'm sorry, in my arm that I had a surgery for. And one of the questions was I going to be okay? Was my body going to feel okay? And if I was able to keep my speed, because the truth of the matter is that they will always be stronger than me. But I have other resources. I have footwork, and I have movement, and I have speed, and I have all of these things that I believe they're enough if I am able to stick to the strategy, so that I can become victorious. But I felt very, very strong. And one of the goals that I have is I'm going to try. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try. And this is what I'm working on, to finish fights before the 10 rounds, so that I can prove that Clarissa is not as strong as she actually says that she is. I fought Oxandia Castillo, and she is a lot more strong, a lot stronger than Clarissa, a lot. And she's a good boxer and all of that, but I believe that we need in boxing, we need to let the boxers, actually the boxers that wants to fight, give them the opportunity to do them fights. Because right now I'm dependent on television, I'm dependent on people trying to want to showcase women's boxing, and I really, really don't have time to waste. I have 3 more years, and I really want to make the best out of it.
Most definitely. G Funky, you got a question?
Yeah, I have a quick question I wanted to ask you about your style, the way that you box. you have like a very classical boxing style. Do you draw inspiration from like the older fighters, like a Sugar Ray Robinson or something like that? Because you have that kind of style to me, you know.
Oh, well, let me tell you that this is one of the most beautiful things I have ever. So thank you so much. I'm very far away from that, but I'm trying. And yes, my husband. I don't know if you know him, but he's Brian Tiquito Vasquez. He fought probably, if you can remember, Fortuna and Jejo Thompson, and he also fought this guy from Mexico. Um, uh, I don't remember his name right now. But
WBA, right?
yeah, but his style is he's a very smart fighter, and he has a lot of different resources. He's not technical in a technical matter. Um he flows so much, and I've been wanting to copy at least a quarter of what he's able to do, and he all of his style is based on different fighters: Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roy Jones Jr. I believe he also study a lot of Valero, and he remains in those limits. So
Okay.
the footwork is very, very important for us. The movement, how we flow with it, and how we make it as simple as possible, so it can become as natural as possible. And so, yeah, we are going around that. I'm very
Yeah.
happy that you are able to see it.
Yeah, I noticed it right away. You know, when I watch you, you have that real classical bounce back and forth. You move around the ring. You know, I really like that style. And here's my second question, and I'll give it off to the rest of the guys. That style always seems to get a bad rap from a lot of fight fans. A lot of fight fans will call that running. Can you explain to them the difference between boxing and running?
Well, right now, I think I wasn't able to show much in this last fight, um, because it ended up fast. But I am trying not to jump so much. I am trying to. One of the things that has been my goal lately in the last 2 years is to be more calm in the canvas. To walk more than jumping. And for the people that believe that you're running, um, really, these people that talk like this, they have never get into a ring, because they will know what the energy expense you have to go through, so that you can do that. And it is very difficult. And I believe that when people is those people right now, it just seems like they don't have a lot of criteria when it comes to the different styles of boxing, because what everybody wants to see is two people in the middle of the ring just hitting each other until one of them fall. And we understand that boxing is the sweet science of hitting and not getting hit. And this, when you hit, it doesn't, and you don't get hit, it doesn't it is not all about this. It is all about the legs. It is all about distance. It is all about angles. It is all about your intelligence. It is all about how you can bring all of those resources and be superior and be dominant and break the opponent's spirit. And so, um, I believe that we cannot rely on the people's opinion that just wants to see some kind of brutality. Uh, I believe that in boxing we have enough people that can truly see through the beauty and through the science of this sport, and we have to remain loyal to what this is, and educate people, because we as boxers, you as media, we as people that are dealing with boxing have the not only the responsibility but also the right to educate people and let them know, what are the different necessities, or what are the different challenges that you have for every kind of style.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely,
You're
absolutely.
welcome.
In the ring with Christine says, I saw the last fight. It was beautiful. I want to
Oh,
ask her
she's
what
so
needs to
great.
be done. She wants to know what needs to be done to bring more attention to women's boxing. And she wants to send all the love and respect.
She's so beautiful and she's so great. I love her so much. Hi to you, my dear. Well, one of the things is that we have to deconstruct the narratives. Um, I believe that there is this way of people judging women for what their looks are. Um, when I came to this heavyweight division, most of the women, they're not very athletic, to say the least, right? And people judged them in this last fight that I had. People was judging Marta so awfully that I was mad. And I've been an athlete since I was 5 years old. But if you see Marta's record, even if she has had nine, she won 11 fights and she has lost nine. But if you think about the big historic event that Clarissa had with the care, she fought the care and went the whole 10 rounds. She fought Maricela Cornejo and she went all the 10 rounds. So if I believe that when it comes to a fight, whoever is able to stick to the strategy and do a good job will be able to showcase who is superior and who is dominant. And in this case, one of the things that I had in mind is, if that fight when Marta would have gone the 10 rounds, that would have said a lot about me, not her, me. And it was very important for me to demonstrate that I could deal with this division. And Marta told my manager, well, I didn't feel that she was that strong, but oh my God, in the 23 fights that I have had in my life, I have never felt what I felt with her. She will hit me so fast. And then when I was going to try to hit me, she was in the other side. And I would look over and she will hit me. And she said that it was awful. And one of the things that I've learned with my husband in training is that he's very, very fast. Like, he's very, very fast. And when he hit fast, he doesn't hit hard, but that rain of punches like frustrate you and you just go like this, right? And I believe there's nothing more horrible than to feel impotente. ¿Cómo se dice impotente?
Impotent.
Impotent.
To feel impotent in the ring, right? Like, you want to do something and you're able to do nothing. That is worse than getting a knockout, right? And I believe that, coming back to the response to the question of Christine, we really have to deconstruct the narratives and stop hoping that women's boxing has to look like men's boxing. We have historically, men has been brought up to fight, to conquer, to all of these things, and we have to understand that not so long ago, women started to, walk in this path and understanding all of these things. And there's so many brave women, so many women that really want to get into this sport and be respected for what they're able to do. And I believe it is. I think that the guys do a good work, because always people say, well, this is a sport that is dominated by men and this and that. But if you see the fighters, the women fighters, there are always, they have always behind them men, amazing men that believe in their talent. So
Exactly.
the problem really has to do with television and promotion.
Yes. I agree with that. And now we have two more questions for you. Milcar, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, big fan. And
Thank
I
you.
gotta tell you, when D-Style told me you would be on the show, I was very excited that you were going to be here. One of the best experiences I had, actually, when I was a bit younger, was visiting your country, visiting Limon, going to your national stadium and seeing your football team play there, the stadium that the Chinese built out there in Costa Rica. Very great experience.
I'm so glad.
I have a lot of things I can ask you, but I'm going to keep it quick because I'll keep it quick. So first of all, one of the things I've always appreciated about you is you did something that one of my favorite, if not favorite fighters did, which was avenge a knockout loss. A lot of fighters don't do that. You did that. Very impressive. But my question for you is, given that you've gone up and down in weight so much, right? What is the ideal weight that you would like to fight at? The weight class that you would like to fight at to take on a Savannah Marshall or to take on a Clarissa Shields?
I've always thought that I was a 154, but I never felt this strong. So I might have been in the wrong division for a while. So really, I have 3 years left and I don't really care. Like, I believe that my skills and the work that we have been doing for 4 years, because it's not a training camp that we did and try to change things. It's been 4 years of changes that I am just now being able to execute on the fights. So I don't really care right now because, as one of the fighters had said, it doesn't matter how strong they are if they can hit you. And I know that one of my biggest concerns will have to be always to always be moving, in being able to provoke, some punches and everything, and be able to play with those. So I'm not really worried. I want to fight Clarissa in any way, but I don't want to fight her now because I want her. And I wrote this statement that Christine, and I thank you so much for sharing that. She shared that the day before that fight. They wanted me to shut up, and I was like, well, if I would have shut up, they would have say, well, if she thought that she was a champion, why didn't she say something, right? They always use them kind of arguments against people. So I said that I was going to do me, and I was going to follow other goals, but that she will, but in that path, that she will feel me breathing on her neck. So even if she wants to fight right now or the next year, it will not happen until I get all of those titles and I rub them in their face, and then people just make her want to fight me, and then she will regret not fighting me after 2 years of inactivity and after an injury when she had to. So that is this is the plan right now.
That is the mission. Beeb, go ahead, Beeb. Go ahead, Beeb.
Yeah, you mentioned, how you doing? First of all, nice to meet you. Nice to see you. You mentioned Clarissa Shields, and obviously, she got she had titles at 154, 160, 168, but the one title she doesn't have is the 175, right? So, do you think that fight would make sense? Well, I'm just saying that we're going to go in order here. We're going to go forward, not backward. So, do you think that you could entice her to come up to 175 to get that opportunity to win a 4th world title in a different weight class?
I'm doing 175 and I'm gonna come to 168.
Okay.
And I
So
want to fight. I love Diva, and I love Diva. She's amazing. But I want to be able to finish up Diva so that I can show my power in these weights. And then I'm gonna go to 160. And whatever she decides to fight me, I'll fight. It is not about a credentials kind of thing. I do want to get the belts. This is a goal that I have. Like, I don't know, 2 months ago, I started to think about these things. But it is not really about her, but because of of all the things that they did with this last event, and just try to ¿cómo se dice? Invisibilizar.
Like to make it disappear, like
Invisibilize me.
invisible, like make that you
make
weren't
it go
there.
invisible.
Like you were invisible,
Yeah.
like you weren't there, right?
Like if I wasn't the champion, and if I haven't been the champion for 10
My
years,
Spanish is getting
that
better. Look at this.
good work. The fact that they tried to make it look like I was invisible, like I wasn't the champion there, um, made me think about these other options. And I remember telling my husband, I don't know, it is something that I feel, and I have never felt this or wanted to prove something this bad. And it's like they have awakened this beast that I didn't know that in me that will want all of these things. And so I'm going step by step. I'm not really interested on getting more belts than her, but I'm interested on her feeling the pressure, because in the last time, I have never talked about me knocking her out. That is always people mentioning this, like she knocked her out and all this, knock her down and blah blah blah. And when I made my statement, um, 2 days before the fight, she posted a picture of me getting hit. And my face looked like, all right. It was a hard shot, and I took it all, and I was like, well, you're not even giving the care, the respect that she deserves, because you're not fighting me, you're fighting her. But since you brought it up, even with those hard shots and whatever, I was always the one standing. And so she responded, "You're such a loser. You have been a champion for 10 years for like only one belt." She didn't know I had two belts. She said, that's a loser kind of thing, and blah blah blah. And I was like, look at that. She doesn't even know how hard it is to remain at the top, and with no school, you know. And so she talks all of this crap and whatever, and at the end, I have been her best fight. She told me, well, my best fight was Diva, not you. And I was like, whatever. I know that I was her best fight, and I didn't even have the school that she has. So
Right.
I'm willing to see where this goes. She might take it, she might not, and it doesn't matter. I just want to be able to, like I said at the beginning, be the best boxer that I can be. And if that someday happens,
Yes.
I will make her regret the decision that they made as a team not to face me when they had to.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Hanna Gabriels, we would definitely want to thank you for stopping by here at Hispanics Causing Panic. And I hope you're down with HCP, and we definitely want to have you back. Especially, if you get a fight announced or something, we'll definitely like to have you back and all that stuff.
It will be my pleasure.
Absolutely.
And you guys have to come to Costa Rica. You have to come back, and you have to
Absolutely.
come, guys.
Yeah,
It would be
we'll go to-
amazing.
it sounds like a great vacation for sure. Once again,
I'll show you around. You'll have fun for sure.
Yeah,
It'll be
absolutely.
my pleasure to have you. You will always be welcome, and I am more than honored and privileged to be here with you. And just thank you so much, really. And
Absolutely.
it will be, I don't know what destiny. You make plans, and you don't know if those plans are going to be met, because the only one that can actually give you the opportunity to make
Right.
that happen, allow you to make that happen, is God. But
Yes.
if he allows me to, I will be more than happy to be able to back up my words with the humbleness that I
Absolutely.
have, because this is not a rage kind of thing or whatever. It's just I want to
Right.
be able to leave boxing and leave a legacy, and hopefully um uh, people like you that know boxing have a little bit of admiration for
Absolutely.
myself and my work.
Well, thank you very much, Hanna, and we'll keep in touch and have a good one. All right.
You too.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hanna Gabriels, everybody. And we, of course, this is Hispanics Causing Panic. And speaking of Hispanics causing panic, all right.
You mean you don't have to give me another introduction, bro?
No,
It's
no,
cool,
not
you know?
you, not you.
Joe,
The one and the only David Benavidez, La Bandera Roja. How you doing, brother?
How you doing, guys? First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys for inviting me to the show, man. But everything is going great, man. Everything is amazing. I'm training already, waiting for my fight August 28th, and we're just training extremely hard and can't wait for the next fight.
Man, absolutely, absolutely. Beeb, take it away.
Yeah, David, I had an interview with Demetrius Andrade a couple of days ago, and I mentioned your name because, if I'm not mistaken, you're ranked #1 by the WBC right now. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, sir.
And he was talking about, trying to position himself to get that Canelo fight. And I mentioned your name, and I said, well, if you fight David Benavidez, you can take that #1 spot if you beat him. But then he said, well, that's a big fight. That's a big fight. We're going to need big money. He didn't sound too enthusiastic about taking on the challenge. What are your thoughts on Demetrius Andrade? Obviously, you got other things going on up at 168, and he would have to come up to challenge you. But would that fight make sense to you at any point in time? And what are your thoughts on how he answered my question?
Of course that fights make sense. I feel like everybody now thinks that the only big fight there is to be made is them versus Canelo, whatever the fighter may be, whoever it might be, from Charlo to Caleb Plant to Demetrius Andrade. But for me, it's very simple. I'm here to fight the best, and if somebody considers themselves the best, then that's the type of person, or that's the person I want to fight. Demetrius Andrade, he's a great fighter. I've been watching him since he came out, since I was a little kid. I was like 12 years old when I first seen him fight. So, I think he's a great fighter, and I would love to fight him. And, if I could beat Demetrius Andrade, which I think I can, that would be a great fighter to have on my resume. So, for me, I'm willing to fight whoever. I'm the #1. I got the #1 spot, for the WBC, and I'm fighting another title eliminator. So, I think it's just going to solidify myself as the #1 contender. So, I don't know. I'm just here to give you guys the best fights you guys want to see, whether it's with Canelo, Caleb Plant, all of them. I'm just ready. I'm just, working to get the opportunity to get in the rings with the guys and, just give you guys a great fight with whoever it may be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to kind of, because speaking of that interview, I heard it. Guys' energy seems to change when your name is mentioned. Like they start talking about their health, they start talking about their life, they start talking about how like they need to really be compensated to fight you. Almost like they need like a retirement plan. I don't know what they want, because he said he needs substantial money to fight you. How much? Like I don't know how much he wants, but how much would you need a lot of money like to fight an Andre? Like, are you concerned about that?
I've been making, for each fight, I've been making probably about since 2000, since like 3 years since I won the belt. I started out when I won the belt, I made 500,000, and of course it keeps going up. I think the highest I've been paid is 1.2 million. But I'll fight him for 1.5 or whatever. It really doesn't matter to me. I just want to stay in there and fight. If if it means taking less money to get a bigger fight, you know, after, then I'll obviously do it. But I mean, I think people now, I mean, they just want the big money. Everybody now, for some reason, wants $6 million, $7 million, you know, without any pay-per-view or without, you know, any type of like excitement or nothing. But I don't know, man. I'm just trying to work my way to the top. You know, I want to be the best of the best. I want to prove myself. You know, I'm the youngest guy in super middleweight division that's at the top right now. You know, I'm the number one contender. I just turned 24 years old, and you know, I'm not asking crazy amounts of money to fight these other people. I'm not asking crazy amounts of money to fight Charlo, you know, Demetrius Andrade, Caleb Plant. You know, honestly, I just want to get in there at the end of the day because I know I'll beat them. You know, and I know as the more champions I beat, the more great contenders I beat, the higher I'll get paid. So for me, it's not really all about the money right now. It's just about the opportunity. And then, you know, like Floyd Mayweather, like I said, Floyd Mayweather, when he was champion for so much years, when he was with Top Rank, I think the most he was getting was $750,000. That's why he left Top Rank. But at a time, you know, he wasn't asking for millions of dollars, and you know, he was still beating everybody. He was still pound for pound. So I feel like, you know, if the idols I've had since I've grown up watching boxing, that's how they were, then that's how I got to be. I can't be more than what my idols were, or ask for more money than they did at the time. And I think you just need to put in the work. And you know, the last man standing always ends up with the most money, and that's how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be the last man standing. And I'm gonna be, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you got to earn it to get the in the millions. So I mean, like I said, I just got to be the last man standing, and it'll come.
Now, Frank Yeager in the chat says Charlo Plant are ducking you, David. Benavidez Canelo at State Farm Stadium in Phoenix would be lit. Well, what are your thoughts on that? I mean,
I'm excited, man. I feel like the thing I got going for us right now, or for me, is that the people, they really want to see me fight Canelo. You know, it's not only just the people; it's actually like boxing experts or boxing legends like Julio Cesar Chavez. You know, all these people, all these great boxers like Mike Tyson. They said that I'll probably be the hardest fight that Canelo has right now. So I mean, if people are motivated and people are excited to see that fight, then I'm just excited for it. You know, I just got to prepare and just be ready for when the opportunity comes.
Absolutely. Shout out to William Box in the chat. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Amilcar.
Yeah, David, great to have you on here again. I spoke to you, I think it was a year ago, and we asked you about Caleb Plant. So I'm not going to ask you about that again. First of all, I'm glad to see that you're back at 168 pounds. As a fan of yours, I know a lot of fans of yours think that that's like your ideal weight and where you're going to be able to do the most right now at this point of your career. I'd actually like to talk about a guy who's about the same age as you, but maybe people don't really realize it. You're just way more experienced than he is. Hector Balanga. This is a guy who's getting a lot of hype right now. What are your thoughts on him? Is that somebody that you might fight? Because a lot of the names that we keep hearing about, they don't really seem to want to get into the ring with you.
I mean, if we can make that fight happen, I mean, me and my team, we try to make that fight happen in our last fight. So, I mean, we didn't really get no reply or nothing. But, I mean, he's getting hyped for a good reason. You know, I mean, he has 17 fights, 16 knockouts in the first round. You know, he's Puerto Rican. You know, he's knocking people out, you know, really good. So these are the type of challenges I want to take for myself. These are the type of challenges I want to take on for myself, just to see that I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going in the route I'm supposed to take. You know, I feel like I want to be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. I want to be a Hall of Famer. So I got to fight multiple great fighters, multiple world champions, and these high-level prospects, and if I want to be a Hall of Famer. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Edgar Berlinga, he knows that I want to fight with him, and I'll make it happen right now. If we can, I'd love to make it. I'd love to make it happen right now. I mean, it would probably be a pay-per-view. You know, it'd probably be a shitload of people that attend the fight, you know, because he's Puerto Rican, I'm Mexican. So there's a lot of hype behind that fight too. So, I mean, why wouldn't I want to get it made? I've been professional almost, I think this is my 8th year professional. Next year is going to be 9 years professional. So, I feel like I'm a young veteran, man. I'm 24 years old, but I'm a young veteran in there. And, you know, I'll fight whoever right now. I want a little bit of excitement.
Absolutely. And you've moved to the Pacific Northwest, right? You've relocated up there?
Yeah, I'm in Seattle, Washington.
What were your reasons for moving up there? Because it's not really a like an area that you hear a lot about when it comes to boxing. People think of, you know, Sean Kemp, Jimi Hendrix. I don't know if they really think of boxing when they think of Seattle. Why'd you move up there?
No, it's not a big boxing state at all. And the reason I moved out here is because I met the mother of my child, you know, so that's the big reason why I moved out here. But
There you go.
the thing about me is, man, I train I train all the time. I only take like 2 years. I only take 2 weeks off after I'm done. But then after that, when I go to training camps, I pick wherever I want to go, and I'll make the training camps happen. So I went to Big Bear, my last fight. You know, I'm gonna go back to Big Bear, or, you know, whatever. That's the good thing about, you know, you could, you know, I've been in so much places. I've lived Texas. I lived in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Oregon, Seattle. So I mean, I know all the gyms, and I got love for all the people. From all the people, I go everywhere. So wherever I want to make my training camp happen, I'll go make it happen. But the reason why I moved to Seattle is, you know, I mean, it's nice over here. It's beautiful. I feel like it's a nice spot to raise a family. So that's why I made the decision to move out here.
Makes sense, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah.
Chief Funky, what's going on, brother? Go ahead.
Hey, David, I want to ask you some questions, man. But first, I want to make a comment. I love your attitude and the way that you speak about boxing, how you just say, look, I'm just going to let these things come to me. I keep winning. I keep fighting the guys that put in front of me. Eventually, they're going to have to come see me. You're not bitching and moaning about money like a lot of these guys. But my question is this. Do you feel like a lot of these newer generation fighters have let money get in the way of their competitive nature of wanting to see who's the best out there? I feel like a lot of guys always talk about the money when I don't really hear you talk that much about it, man. Do you think that that's become a problem in boxing?
I mean, I think so, man. I feel like I've been making, you know, good amount of money for my age since I won the belt, man. I won the belt when I was 20 years old. So, I mean, I've been living pretty comfortable. I feel like these other people, you know, sometimes they just aim for the moon, and sometimes they'll get it, and sometimes they don't. But I mean, sometimes, a lot of times these dudes just price themselves out, and it's not only about the money. It's because they really don't want to fight. A lot of people say 60-40, 70-30, all that type of bullshit. I feel like, you know, if you guys want to, you know, get the most out of I think you guys should just do 40, whoever it is, 40-40 if it's a pay-per-view fight, 40-40, and then the winner gets the extra 20%. That's how I always looked at it. But, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's not a bad thing that we're getting paid good, you know, because you can look at the UFC. Those dudes are getting messed up. But it's a good thing and a bad thing at the end of the day that we're getting, you know, good amount of money. But some people, they just take advantage of it, man. They just try to, and then they leave so much good fights on the table because they just can't come up, you know, they can't come up in the negotiations of the price. So I think it's bad, but, you know, I mean, what can you do? Sometimes these people, they just don't want to fight. They just use that as an excuse to not make the fight happen.
I agree. I was very, very disappointed in Charlo's response after he called you out, and then you said, let's get this thing on. And he's like, well, is he vaccinated? He's got to be over a certain age. Like, that's just, I don't understand this new age of fighter, man. Like this kind of talk, you know, I just don't get it.
Yeah, but he's not a new age though. He's already like 32 years old, man. I mean, I'm the new age. He's not. So, I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit about him. I mean, but like so I seen when I fought, you know, and then they interviewed Charlo or whatever. Then he had his little rant, like he always has his fucking rants, because that's all he likes to do is run his mouth. He had his little rant saying, oh, yeah, David Benavidez gets his too much. I'm going to knock him out. I'm putting him to sleep. I'm like, all right, cool. We about to get this fight. You know, I call my people. I said, what's up with when this fight going to be made? Like, no, we didn't hear nothing. This guy's just talking shit. And then after saying that he's not going to fight, he's not going to move up to 168, that he doesn't want to put his life on the line, that he doesn't want to mess up a potential fight with him and Canelo. Honestly, I feel like Jermell Charlo, he's the last in the line to probably fight with Canelo. You know, Canelo don't even mention the name. He's not even in the weight class where Canelo's actually, you know, campaigning in right now. But if you wanted to get close to that fight, I'm right here. You know, I don't think Canelo would have had a problem fighting the winner of David Benavidez or of me and Jermell Charlo, because it would be a great matchup, and it'd be a great, you know, it could have been like a title eliminator, and then the winner fights for the title for the WBC. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to be a great setup, and, you know, I was obviously getting ready for that. But then you see the type of fight he took. Who is he fighting? I mean, no disrespect to the person he's fighting, but, you know, I mean, I think I've only seen Montiel fight once. You know, he's a good fighter too, but come on, Charlo needs to step it up a little bit, man.
I agree, especially after he had, in what my opinion was his best opponent to date, Derevyanchenko. Then you come back with this, very disappointing. Now, I'm going to ask you one more question. I I'm predicting, and this is just a prediction, man, because I'm just a fan. I'm not in the business, but I'm hoping that if Plant takes a fight with Canelo, I think he's going to beat Plant, become undisputed. I hope that he gives you a chance. You guys could fight next year, Cinco de Mayo. I think you're the guy that gives him the most problems and could possibly beat him. I feel like you have the physical tools, the hand speed, the volume. I mean, I know you'd be willing to take that fight, man. So, you know, is that a thing, Van? Are you ready for that or what?
Well, exactly, man. You know, this is what I've been prepared for my whole life. And I mean, I don't see why not, why that wouldn't happen. I mean, this is going to be my second title eliminator fight, you know, and I'm training extremely hard. You know, everything is, I'm going to go in there, get this victory. So, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't happen next year, you know what I mean? But, I mean, you know, things always happen. So, you know, I just got to be prepared for anything. I feel like with the type of fighter I am, Canelo hasn't fought somebody in a long time, you know, like the type of fighter I am that throws body shots, has a great jab, great speed, you know what I mean? Is physically bigger than him, you know, longer arms. You know, I understand Canelo, you know, he has a lot of experience. He's a great fighter and he's been doing amazing lately. But I mean, I feel like I do a lot of the same things as him, you know, great body shots. And, you know, those are the body shots that those really hurt people, you know, and then I'm that's what I specialize in. I throw great body shots as well. That's why when he stops everybody with the body shots, I can do the exact same thing. Because on this side, I'm doing the exact same thing too. So there's a lot of similarities in the style. I mean, there's a couple things I need to work on, you know, just to be prepared for Canelo, but I'm willing to do it. And I feel like the fans, you know, they're, as soon as this fight is announced, man, everything's gonna go crazy, man, because this is, everybody knows this is potentially could be one of the fights of the decade.
Yeah, absolutely. Some questions from the chat here. DG is asking, Bandera, you looking in shape and you got a fight date. Canelo aside, who would you like the most in the fall or December? You have anybody in mind besides Canelo?
Yeah, Charlo, man. That's the fight I still want to get. I'm gonna be talking a little bit more shit to maybe put a little pressure on this dude to hopefully he accepts the fight. I mean, I've been hearing that he's gonna come up to 168, so man, hopefully Charlo. Who else we got? Caleb Plant, be a great fight. Berlanga. You know, those are three great names right there that I'd love to take. You know, I'll definitely take those fights, you know, in a heartbeat. So, like I said, man, I'm just waiting for my spot, man. The good thing about me is I got time on my side. You know, all these guys are older than me. You know, I still got another 10 years left in this box. You know, I just turned 24 years old, so I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a hurry either. So, I'm the opportunity.
So, with that said, do you think it'll be smarter for Canelo to fight you now instead of him getting older and you getting more experience?
That's a question you have to answer, man. I mean, I'm ready to fight him now. You know, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the older I get, I mean, now like I said, I have 8 years professional in boxing. I feel like I'm getting a lot of experience. I'm getting stronger. You know, I'm finally getting like my man strength. You know what I mean? And I'm not even in my prime yet. Nowhere close to being in my prime. And I feel, you know, I just feel amazing from all the work I've put in. So if he fights me now or later, it's not going to make no difference. It's going to be the same result.
Yeah. Now, H Money in the chat is asking, ask Benavidez about sparring Edgar Berlanga. Anything you could let us know about that?
There was a video that came out talking about me sparring Berlinga. I never sparred Berlinga, and there's one that says that Eric dropped him. I never said that either. I said I seen a couple fights in the amateurs where he gets dropped. I never said Erickson Lubin. I said he was having a tough time with Erickson Lubin because I seen a clip on Instagram, but I've never sparred Edgar Berlinga, and you know, obviously Lubin didn't drop him, but I don't know if you guys seen, he's been dropped a couple times in an amateur fight. So that's just right there to answer your question.
What are your thoughts of David Morrell, another PBC fighter? What are your thoughts on him, David Benavidez?
He's a good fighter, man. He's very technical. He's very fast. He has that, you know, that good Cuban amateur background style because he came from Cuba, right? He was on the Cuba. Yeah, so he's a great fight. He's a great fighter too. I mean, obviously that would be a great fight to make happen, and it can happen too. We're in the same promotion company, and you know, obviously we're in the same weight. So I mean, that would be a great fight to make happen too.
He's got the regular title for whatever that's worth, right? And it's right there under Canelo.
Shit, but that's still a WBA title, so I'll love to fight.
Absolutely.
Him.
Yeah.
David, since you are ranked #1 by the WBC, do you envision yourself becoming Canelo's mandatory at some point next year?
I mean, I should have been the mandatory for him already. I mean, I just won a title eliminator. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't be denied the fact to fight Canelo if I win my next title eliminator, because that's – who do you even hear fighting 2 title eliminators in a row? Like, it just makes no sense. But, I mean, if that's what I got to go through, you know, I'm the one who dropped the ball on the weight, you know, all that stuff, lost the title. So I don't got nobody to blame but myself. So if I got to fight 4 or 5 title eliminations in a row, then that's what I got to do.
Yeah, the GOAT is asking, what is your response to Plant saying in an interview today he tried to make the fight happen with Samson, turned down the fight down because he said David wasn't ready for Plant and he needed more time.
Bro, and you believe that?
No.
Because it's fucking mouth, bro. If you would have made the fight happen, you think I would have denied the fight? It just
No.
I mean, there's a lot of people are just out here lying and stuff, bro. It's just if you guys don't want to fight, just don't try to fucking make up lies saying that you try to send me a contract. And then if you would have tried to, okay, why is that barely coming out now that he's saying that? If that fucking whatever the video he was talking about was like 4 years ago, why is he saying that now? You know what I mean? It's always a fucking excuse after excuse. If he wanted to fight me, I would have definitely fought him instead of him fighting. What's the guy he just fought?
Truex.
We could have made the fight happen versus me and him. We're in camp at the same time. So if he would have really wanted to fight me, why didn't he make the fight happen? He would have made way more money if that's what he's looking for. He's looking for money, supposedly. He would have made way more money. And, you know, people would have respected him more taking the fight with me than taking the fight with Truex. You know what I mean? So there's a whole bunch of people, you know, it's lying, saying, you know, stupid shit, man. If you guys wanted to fight me and send me a contract, I would accept it. I don't run from nobody.
David, based on his track record here, and we're hearing reports that he may want X amount of millions to fight Canelo because it's an undisputed fight, even though he's bringing one belt to the table, just like Billy Joe did. Do you see himself pricing himself out of this fight?
Could possibly happen, man. I don't think he'll price himself out of the fight. Only because, you know, I think Canelo, he really wants to be undisputed. And there's never been an undisputed champion at 168. So for whatever he has to pay him, I think, you know, he's going to end up having to pay him. I don't think – how much did Billy Joe Sanders get? 8? He got 8.
Reportedly.
I think that's more than enough for him. I mean, what did Caleb Plant fight his last fight? $750,000?
Yeah.
I don't know how you go from this and you want – you know.
So,
10 times more.
Well, what do you make of this, David? Because Plant's argument is, right, and without putting words in your mouth, I want to know what you think, but this is what he said. He said, you know what? This fight, I should get paid more than Billy because this one's for undisputed. Like, what do you think of that? Because that's the argument Plant's making.
I really, honestly, I don't know what to say to that, bro. I mean, it's undisputed. Okay. I mean, I understand the magnitude in the fight, but Canelo's bringing the other belts. He's bringing all the other belts. He went out and got him. This guy only had 1 belt. So, I mean, I don't understand what, you know, he's trying to make it seem like he's the one that went and collected all the belts, or they got 2 and 2, you know.
Right.
The reason I've never liked Caleb Plant, bro, is because he says dumbass shit like that. He always thinks he's like the second coming of Mayweather, or there's always some stupid shit happening. But if you look at his track record, you know, he talks like he's a killer, but in the ring, he can't finish people. So if you can't finish people in the ring, then you're not a killer, bro. Stop trying to act like you're a killer. You're not. Okay, he fought. Okay, since he won the title from Muskateki, bro, he's fought nothing but weak ass fucking competition, bro. Like it's ridiculous. Like he fought. Was it Mike Lee? He fought
Feigen Buns.
Truex.
That's it.
Like,
That's it.
What the fuck, bro? What is that?
Like, we ran out of names. We ran out of names to say.
He also fought Porky Medina, though, David. Come on now. He
Huh?
fought Porky. I said he also
Porky
fought
Medina.
Porky Medina, though. Come on now.
Yeah.
For a belt. That wasn't for a. I'm telling you, after he won the title.
Yeah, I know. I'm joking.
Raider from LA wants to ask, like the Ustakiri fight. I mean, what are the chances that you become number 1 IBF mandatory and request a number 1 against Caleb Plant?
I mean, that could happen too, but I mean, I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of running around, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people saying that the this and that, but I mean, the easiest thing we can handle all this stuff is we can fight. I mean, I feel like even after Caleb Plant fights Canelo, I would still love to fight Caleb Plant after, win or lose. I mean, even if no belt or no belt, I would love to fight him. I feel like the easiest way we could all just figure this shit out is just fight each other, and then we'll see who the best is, who ends up at the top.
I love that. I love that mentality.
So David, you don't usually have beefs with people. Where did this beef with Caleb Plant stem from? I mean, you mentioned he talks a lot of trash, but it has to like be deeper than this because like you're cool with everybody. I never see you like have a bad word to say about anybody. But and I'm not saying he doesn't say bad words about you, so I'm not saying he doesn't elicit a response from you. But where did this all stem from?
I mean, there's been a lot of not beefs, but it's just I feel like it's just like what is that called? The word called? It's just like rivalries, man. I mean, that's how it has to be. I mean, I feel like people don't think I'm talking shit to people because I come off like, as a cool guy. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of fucking people I don't like. And, my weight division, a lot of people in boxing I don't like. But, I mean, I'm not going to – the way I want to come out, I want to come out off as a professional and all that. But Caleb Plant, man, this always – ever since I first met the guy, and there was a video, I don't know if you guys seen it, him and my brother get into it, and then he sucker
Oh, yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he sucker punches my brother, then runs behind his trainer. You know what I mean? That's like some sucker shit right there. But I mean, whatever, man. I mean, it is what it is. I'm never like that guy. I'm never gonna like him, even after we fight. I mean, I never want to be cool with him at all. So I mean, that's just how that is.
Hey, I mean, you're not in the game to make friends, right? So at the end of the day,
some personalities just don't mesh. That's the way. Yeah.
Well, I think also it's one thing to talk shit about a guy's skills or that you think that you'll beat him. It's another thing to talk about people's personal lives and stuff like that. I mean, that kind of came up in our last interview, and I know I can definitely relate to that as well. Like, just keep it in the boxing. So, yeah.
Well, as far as Ukasi goes, do you feel like, I mean, is there a little bit of like, I'm going to beat him better than Plant did or something? Is there something in there that you want to prove a point beyond just winning? That you want to just really beat him up to give a message to people like, look, Plant ain't all that. Look at what I did to the dude like he beat. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's definitely the plan that we're going to do. But my plan is always the same thing. Whatever fighter it is, it doesn't matter who fought him before. I want to go in there and stop people just to show, everybody the type of person I am, the type of fighter I am. I feel like that's why a lot of people like me, and that's why a lot of people, they really support me and they're really behind me, because it doesn't matter if everything there. If there was no trash talk during the lead up to the fight, or if there was trash talk, I'm gonna still go in there and try to end you, man. Like if I hate you, no matter what. But it's because that's the type of fighter I want to be. That my idols are the same way. Tito Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, Marco Antonio Barrera, they'd all go in there and they're trying to, really dismantle everybody. And that's the type of fighting style I've had since I was a little kid. So, it's going to continue. It's always going to continue being like that.
Now, a lot of people say it's the young generation that's talking a lot about money more so than the fights and stuff. But like, you're the youngest one out of all of them, and obviously you are a prize fighter. And of course you want to get paid for the work you do and putting everything on the line. But, in your opinion, where do you think it comes from with these fighters that talk like they need a big package, like they need to be paid like this amazing lump sum of money to take a risk? And it's usually against guys like you, like they really feel like they need to be compensated to take a risk against somebody like you, someone dangerous like you. Do you think like you're not wired that way because you maybe have confidence they don't? Do you think it's a confidence thing? Like, what do you think that is?
To be honest, man, I'm not really too sure, and I really can't speak on how other fighters think. I could just tell you how I feel, but I feel like I really think it was the past generations, really kind of like gave everybody that mentality. Like at first it was Floyd, and everybody's seen how successful Floyd was, so I feel like they're trying to follow his blueprint. They're trying to feel like, we're going to ask for this crazy amount of money, and they're going to give it to us because they have to give it to us. No, they don't have to give it to you. You know what I mean? And then after Floyd, it was Broner. So, I mean, I think it's just seeing stuff from like other like fighters, like other past generations. I feel like that's why all this talk about money and all this stuff. I mean, obviously everybody wants to get paid, and we do deserve to get paid, but sometimes people, they just overprice themselves. And I feel like it's because of, definitely just because of what I just mentioned, Floyd and Adrian Broner and Gervonta Davis and all that.
Okay. Go ahead, Chief Funky and Milcar. You got any questions?
Yeah, I have a question about something that I heard in the past. Is there any truth to you potentially having a fight with Triple G? Alex Ariza, I think, said you guys used to spar. Is there any truth to that, or is it just an internet rumor?
To a fight? No, not a fight. I used to spar him. Yeah, I started sparring Triple G. When I first met him, I was 15 years old. My first time I sparred him, and that was before he made his HBO debut. And he liked the sparring session so much that he invited me back for years and years. I think the last time I sparred him was for the Triple G and Daniel Jacobs. That was the camp, and I was always his main sparring partner. And I always got some great working with the guy. And honestly, just speaking out of all the people I've met and like all the mentors I've had, I feel like Triple G has been one of the best persons I've ever met. He's very generous, he's very nice, very humble, and that's why I kind of wanted to be like him, because you don't see that guy on the street and you don't think nothing of it, but if that guy gets his hands on you, he'll fucking kill you. You know what I mean? Like in a boxing standpoint. So I feel like that's kind of the style I wanted to take and the style I wanted to approach, because everybody loves him, everybody loves Triple G, but in the ring, you can't mess with him. He's a great person. But like I said, I'm just very fortunate to go up there and I've been sparred Triple G. But as to a fight, no, I've never been in talks about any fight with Triple G.
Okay.
Now, you have talked a lot about, I see some interviews of yours that you've already addressed enough about, missing weight 2 fights ago. You did make weight on your last fight. But what I want to ask you is, how comfortable were you making the weight, and do you feel comfortable where you could still stay at this weight class for a couple of years, or will you be moving up to 175 soon?
No, I felt more comfortable, bro, staying at the weight class, 168. I think it was just trying to show everybody I can make it and make the weight, and I have no problem doing that. There's a lot of trash talk, a lot of people saying all this stuff, but I was on weight a week, like before the weigh-in. You know what I mean? And just to show everybody I could stay on there. I think what I just had to do is, I'm not using no excuses or none of that, but when I missed the weight, everything, my girlfriend was pregnant, going through all this stuff, and it really kind of puts a little bit of a stress on you, especially when going through COVID, having a baby, fights getting canceled, all this stuff. But I paid the price. But right now, I feel like I could be at super middleweight for at least 3 or 4 more years. I feel very comfortable right now, especially after I've been taking care of myself. And I weighed myself. I was at 190 after training. And I'm not even trying to lose weight or nothing. So 21 pounds is nothing. And I still got 15 weeks left to my fight. So by the time I leave here, I want to be 184. And it's super. Especially was like 14 pounds in 10 weeks is, it's nothing. It's nothing. So I'm very comfortable right now.
You were in the bubble too, right? When you missed weight as well, which was a new situation for you, right?
The bubble, man, that's the most strict bubble I've ever been to. The one in Connecticut. You couldn't even leave the floor. You couldn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? And I just didn't know, I really needed the sauna and, be able to run outside and all that stuff, to make the weight for that fight. I couldn't make the weight for that fight. It's just things I didn't have access to make the weight. And then, also only being allowed to go downstairs to the gym where they only have a treadmill and elliptical for 1 hour, 1 hour a day. And that's it. So you get there and you're quarantined for 2 days. So we left quarantine Monday, Tuesday. We had Wednesday and Thursday to basically make the weight. And I was just not prepared for it, bro. I think it wasn't not that I couldn't make the weight. It was just not being prepared for, what I had access to and what I didn't have access to.
David, if Canelo and Caleb Plant end up unifying and getting that matchup this year, how do you see that fight playing out? And do you think Caleb Plant even has a shot to win that fight, in your opinion?
I feel like the type of fighter that Canelo is and the type of fighter that Caleb Plant is, I feel like Caleb Plant probably start good the first couple rounds, but if you really pay attention, Caleb Plant, he kind of seems to run out of gas, the last 4 rounds. And I feel like with Canelo, you can't at all. You have to be, really on top of your game and in every single moment of the fight. So I feel like, Canelo, I feel like he knocks out Caleb Plant. Hopefully he doesn't, because I want to be the first one to knock out Caleb Plant. So,
Well, look, if that fight doesn't happen, let's say for whatever reason, and I don't want let's say whoever's fault it is, regardless of that, let's say Plant doesn't fight Canelo, and, Plant said he has options, right? He's like, I don't need Canelo, I have options, he said. So I'm assuming he's talking about you and maybe Charlo. I don't know who else he could really fight at the moment. Let's say you get the fight with Plant, which I'm sure you really want, right? and you win that fight, how easy would it be to make a fight with you and Canelo?
I mean, it'll definitely be easier because I have a title. You know, I feel like the only reason I'm having a hard time to get Canelo right now is because I don't have a title, and he's, you know, going the other route trying to get the other titles. So I mean, definitely, and I feel like if I, you know, face Caleb Plant, I beat him, I get a title, it'll be that one step closer to making that fight happen.
Yeah.
Man, all these are like the right answers. So you're like the easiest dude to interview. Usually we gotta like be careful with fighters so we don't like make them mad, you know, like but like I get the sense that you'll literally fight anybody.
Even for you
yeah.
guys, I can't. There's some like I watch interviews and stuff, and these people like they treat the reporters like shit, or they try to make them feel like stupid about themselves for asking this question. I can't. This is you guys' job, man, and it's my job to be prepared to answer every single one of these questions. I mean, definitely, I've been telling you guys for a year now that I'll fight anybody, and that's not a lie. I will fight anybody, but like I said, man, I'm just waiting for my opportunity, and time is on my side. I'm working extremely hard right now. You know, I'm extremely motivated. You know, my son, you know, he's 8 months, so I mean, I feel like that was the other extra piece I needed to, you know, just be the best version of myself I could be. You know, I was already extremely motivated before him, and now after, you know, I just want to give him everything he needs, and I want him, you know, when he gets older, I want him, you know, to with confidence and tell all his friends that, yeah, my dad was the baddest motherfucker at the time. So, you know, that's exactly what I'm working for. You know, I'm working for him and his future.
We've got a question from my comrade Nopal, and they're asking where you got your nickname from.
Well, so my promoter, Samson Lukowicz, you know, he kind of gave me the nickname. I feel like, you know, I didn't really like it at the time, to be honest with you, because, you know, fucking red flag, like, what the fuck does that mean? But it's like, but like he said, the way he explained it to me, he said it signified danger. Like if you go into a bull pit and people are waving red flags, you know, imagine just seeing that, you know, if I fight Canelo, all my fans are waving the red flags, man, with my logo on it. It's going to be like he's walking into a bull pit. You know, I just want to let everybody know, too, that I'm here and I'm not going nowhere. You know, I'm here for my people, my raza, you know what I mean? So I'm not going nowhere, and I'm going to fight always. I'm going to fight 100% and with all my heart, always.
Best talent scout in the game, Samson.
That's right. That's right. H Money wants to know, who is your favorite fighter of all time? If you could just pick one, who would it be?
Nah, I can't just pick one, bro. Honestly, I can't pick so much. There's so much fighters that are fucking like amazing. Everybody does something so good. Like one of my top ones, I would have to say, is Prince Nassim Hamed. You know, he just had a different style, but crazy power. And I think the thing I liked about him is he was so flamboyant. I feel like he was the first Mayweather before Mayweather. You know, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? He just brought something different to the game, and he definitely had great power. My second one is Oscar De La Hoya. Third, Felix Trinidad. Fifth, Roy Jones Jr. And Marco Antonio Barrero, Sugar Ray Leonard, Robert Duran, Alexis Arroyo, bro. It's too much. It can't be just one. It's just too much.
You're naming all my favorite fighters from the past, man. I love that.
Speaking of other fighters, we've got a big fight this weekend, Undisputed fight. Are you going to be watching it? And if so, can you make a prediction?
Oh, definitely, man. Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor, man, both those guys, amazing fighters. You know, it's going to be a great unification fight for the division. But I feel like Jose Ramirez has more momentum on the side. You know, I feel like he has more weapons than Josh Taylor. You know, obviously, if you have a great left hook to the body, man, you can stop the fight whenever. It's just you finding the opportunity to land that shot. And the thing about Jose Ramirez is he doesn't just throw one. Sometimes he doubles up the left hook to the body, and people do not expect that. He has great jab, great combinations. But Josh Taylor, he's a great boxer too. He has great speed. But I feel like this is, you know, I got to be with my people, man. I'm not disrespecting nobody, but, you know, Jose Ramirez is my friend too, and he's a great fighter, and I'm a fan of him. So I think Jose Ramirez is going to win. That's
what I'm talking about. Now, Dave, I want to ask you something. Now, I know you just said a few minutes back that you still have quite a few years at 168. But I mean, we look at you, you're physically much bigger than most of the guys as far as height. Where do you see yourself ending your career at? What weight? Do you think you'll be light heavyweight, cruiserweight, or where do you think that you'll end up?
I think, to be honest, bro, I think I want to do 175 and then maybe cruiserweight when I get older. you know, I've already been a big boy one time, you know what I mean? 250 pounds. I don't want to go back to being that, you know, especially if I retire, you know what I mean? So I think 168, 175, and then maybe cruiserweight. But you know, we'll see. We'll see what things take us down the road.
Absolutely. Now I know you just named off a lot of fighters that were your favorite fighters from the past. Now I want to ask you this question about fighters from the past. Which fighter do you take most inspiration from and use their style in the ring, or have you just is it a variety of fighters that you kind of combine?
Oh, and then also too, I forgot to mention one of my favorites too is Manny Pacquiao. I can't forget Manny Pacquiao, but I feel like I don't know. The thing about me, bro, I just try to take something from everybody I liked and then just try to apply it to my style. But the one person I always try to challenge myself. And try to be like is Manny Pacquiao, is because I just love his combinations. So that's where I kind of get the motivation to throw punches and bunches and do stuff like that, because I feel like, you know, if you land 4 or 5 shots, it looks better than just landing 1 shot. So I feel like I kind of get my that in a sense from Manny Pacquiao. I don't want to say I get my style from Manny Pacquiao. I just feel like I get the speed from him and just other little stuff I do. And also Golovkin and Oscar De La Hoya, his jab. You know, I try to mimic both their jabs, and that's where the jab comes from too.
Yeah, both good jabs. Especially Oscar had one of the best jabs I think I've ever seen in boxing. Yeah, now that you mentioned Pacquiao, and now I'm picturing you fighting in my head, like I could kind of see some of those flurries that you throw. Remind me a little bit of Pacquiao, especially when you got guys up against the ropes and you're looking to finish. I mean, you're just pop, 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 pop. You're all over these guys, man. I love that stuff, man.
Yeah, definitely. And the reason I do that stuff is because I've seen Pacquiao fight live, and I know how the people go crazy. You know, when you land a flurry like that on somebody's on the rope like that, I know how the energy is when you're at home at a carne asada watching the fights and you see something like that, you know. So that's definitely something I love to do. And even the sparring sessions, I try to challenge myself and do stuff like that, you know, like because Manny Pacquiao he's definitely one of my favorites. You know, out of all the favorites I've mentioned, he's definitely one of the top favorites. But, you know, like I said, there's just so much boxers that you know, I'm a student of boxing at the end of the day, and I just try to take things from everybody, and just apply it to my style.
Did you see Hamed Kelly live, or did you see that later on?
I was like 3 years old when that happened.
Yeah, I figured.
I was in 2000.
That was a great fight.
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen it live at home or if I just seen it like years later. I was really young, but I've seen that fight so many times, bro. Even to this day, I get excited watching that fight, you know. And those, you know, I mean, if, you know, by the time my career is over, I want people to see, you know, the David Benavidez, you know, they had fights like, you know, old timers. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying I want to go in there and just be reckless and get knocked down here and there, but, you know, if the fight brings excitement like that, and that's the only way to take the fight, then, you know, that's how we're going to do it. But those are the fights. Those are really memorable fights that you'll never forget.
Now, there's some questions in the chat about, I've seen several, about Robert Garcia Boxing Academy. You did some sparring there?
Yeah. I've known Robert and his family for a long time, man. And they've always invited me to, they train Riverside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's Riverside. I get that confused with Oxnard sometimes. And yeah, I've always gone there. I've sparred with all the dudes he had there. I mean, the last time I was there, I sparred 4 dudes for 15 rounds. Ooh. You know, back to back to back. And you know, Robert, you know, just to try to get the best sparring for his fighters too. He doesn't mind putting them in there with me. So I mean, those dudes, they always show love, man. And you know, they're all great guys all around.
Yeah, most definitely. And you know, when I'm older and I'm old and there's like something of you that my grandkids see, what is it that you believe, not just me, fans of boxing will be saying about you and your legacy and your career? What do you want us to say?
I want you guys to say that I was the best of my generation. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, I don't want to say the best boxer ever, you know what I mean? Because there's just so much, and I have so much respect for boxers, but of my generation, that's what I want to be. I want to be the best boxer of my generation. I mean, I know that's a big shoes to fill. You know, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be a lot of work to be done. You know, but I'm willing to do everything in my power to do to make sure that happens.
I want to ask you one more question, man. I seen that you were at the fights on Saturday in Carson. Did you get a chance to see Xavier Martinez fight? And if you did, what did you think of his performance?
I didn't see his fight. I didn't see his fight. I had to actually leave a little early because some stuff was going on, but I seen all the other fights on the highlights and on YouTube and stuff, and the whole card, man, from top to bottom was great. I mean, I had a lot of fun. That was my first time being in a fight since COVID hit, and all the fights were amazing. Even what's his name, Roman? Is it Daniel Roman? He was a great fight. The co-main event was a great fight, and the main event was an amazing fight too. You know what I mean? So and I was a little bit surprised, to be honest with you. I thought the main event was gonna end in the split decision, but man, that guy Figueroa, he's a beast, man. He deserves all he's getting because he's getting hit with shots, but he got the warrior. He has a warrior's heart. Just like I said, if I have to fight a person like that and I have to keep going, then the last man's gonna stay standing. It's gonna be me, and that's exactly how he fights too. So I mean, he turned me into a fan. He's a great fighter.
He brought the bandera roja, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Hey, David, we would definitely want to thank you, man, for coming on and taking the time. We would definitely appreciate it. We hope to have you back in the future, definitely, especially after your fight. Anything else you want to say to the fans out there watching?
Yeah, I just want to thank all the fans for all the love and support that, they've been following me for a long time in my career. And I just want to say, man, hopefully that they allow me to fight with fans back in the crowd, man, because August 28th is going to be a great fight. Uskatek, he don't back down from nobody. I don't back down from nobody either. So it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be warrant. So from round 1 to whatever round it finishes, and I will be on top and I will win that fight. So I hope you guys can come out and see and come support me, man, because I really do miss all the fans.
Yeah,
where's the fight
actually,
at?
Yeah, we're going to ask you that because we don't know. We couldn't find the location.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going to be at yet. They just put out August 28th. But like I'm saying, I'm hoping it's not back in Connecticut because Connecticut is in
How about the Garden? How about the Garden right here in New York? That's where Matt Kelly was.
No, we're gonna be fully open at that time, though.
Kind of like the Barclays. I like the Barclays a little bit better.
Oh, I'll take the train down to the Barclays. It's not that much farther.
But whatever is gonna be, I just hope the fans could come through and see the fight, man, because this fight is gonna be fucking action packed from round 1 to whatever round it ends. Like I said, so it's gonna be great, man. So hopefully you guys can come through and support.
That's right, guys. Fellow Hispanic causing panic came through. Keep causing panic out there. David Benavidez, La Bandera Roja. Have a good one, brother.
Right, thank you as well, guys.
Good luck in your fight, man.
There we go, man. David Benavidez took time to come on here. Want to thank, Hanna Gabriels. Awesome to have her on as well. So shout out to her. So back-to-back interviews, all that good stuff. I'm sorry I didn't get to every single person in the chat. And we have our questions to ask. We tried our best to kind of mix those in. Shout out to Boxing Wave, man. I appreciate that, man, for your $24 super chat to support the channel. Much appreciate everybody. Subscribe to Boxing Wave. If you're not subscribed to Boxing Wave, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, you should definitely be subbed to him. A big dog Willie with a $2 super chat. I definitely appreciate you, brother. Much thanks as well. Mr. Sinister, how's it going? Shushan, what you guys think, man? Are you pumped? I think David Benavidez is serious, man. I think he wants everybody.
He's
and
got
I think he'll
that,
fight anybody.
He's got that throwback mentality. He doesn't bitch and moan about money. He's not bitching and moaning about the position that he's in. He's like, look, I'm gonna fight these guys. I'm gonna get my opportunity. The money's gonna come. I love that mentality, man.
It's a pleasure interviewing a PBC guy that doesn't use the phrase "other side of the street."
That too.
Wanted to ask
I was like, I'm gonna walk on all the streets. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay,
I'm on every corner.
I was gonna get to before we had our guest on just about Daniel Roman. So I just want to get you guys' thoughts on that before we close this one out. Beeb, I believe I was going to go to you first with that question, but talk to me. What do you think of Daniel Roman? He's a mandatory for WBC. Do you believe they'll probably do Figueroa as a franchise champion? Do you think they'll make him wait? Like, what do you think's going to happen with that?
I think they'll make him wait, but he'll definitely get the shot. But I think they'll make him wait till after the unification, I believe.
Okay, all right. How do you feel about it, Chief Funky?
I hope he gets his shot because he's earned it. I know there's a little bit of confusion there with I think it's the WBC. I don't know. I sometimes lose track of these sanctioning bodies, but I hope he pushes for that thing, man, because he deserves it. He's earned it.
All right. Milcar, how do you feel about it?
I'm a little confused because when I think I get a grasp of like how the sanctioning bodies work and their rules, all of a sudden I like go back to the first grade and I got to start all over again. I thought you couldn't unify a regular title with like a WBC or IBF title, but then at the end of the fight, they unified the WBA regular with the WBC. I thought that Akhmadaliev was the super champ and only he could unify. Isn't that how it's supposed to work?
From my understanding,
obviously they're going to have an interim champion and there won't be a unification. So pretty much, you're right about that, though.
If you're asking me about who I think is going to win, I'm right now. I got to go with Figueroa. I mean, dude's riding the wave. He's super strong. I love his attacking style. He's like a tall fighter that can fight pretty effectively on the inside and figures out a way to use his arm length as an advantage. And what happened on the weekend was that Neri got to a point where because he was tiring out, he couldn't really close the distance that effectively, and the height and the reach seemed to be coming into play a little bit. I think Daniel Roman is a terrific boxer. I think his Achilles heel, if he does have one, is his punching power. And I think he's going to need a lot of punching power to keep off the young lion, Brandon Figueroa. That's what I think right now. That can be adjusted later on with a little bit more research, what my man Joe calls empirical data. But that's what I think right now.
Well, at the end of the day, the question is, Daniel Roman is the mandatory for the WBC. Neri took a voluntary against Figueroa, obviously lost. And now PBC is going to be making the fight with Fulton for unification for Fulton's, what does he have, the WBO? Okay. Yeah. So Roman is saying, I'm owed my shot. Like, I'm the mandatory. He should be fighting. I should be fighting for that belt before he fights Fulton.
Well, maybe we'll just make him franchise champion. It will be a moot point, right? I mean, I don't understand at this point how these sanctioning bodies work. You need to be a super champ to
He is a super champion. Figueroa is the super champion.
So no, he's not.
If you look on BoxRec, it says he's the. It says World Boxing Super Bantamweight title.
No, that's a super bantamweight division.
No, it says Super Bantamweight.
So how did he leapfrog?
They promoted him. Apparently, they promoted him.
So they have two super champions.
Well, they're saying he's listed as the World Boxing Super Bantamweight titleist.
This is why boxing kicks itself in the foot.
That's what they're listing him at.
If we don't fucking understand this, how's the general public gonna understand it?
Well, I digress. The main thing is, I think they're gonna make Danny Roman, because they're making a big deal about it. Like, they're saying, hey, I won my eliminator. I graciously let them do a voluntary, and I'm owed my shot, right?
But here's the problem. The WBC is really lax in enforcing mandatories. If it was the WBA that had a mandatory, an IBF that had a mandatory, or WBA would be different. Because it's the WBC, they'd rather go. They like the unification fights better, to be honest with you. They like the bigger fights.
They'll make him interim champ.
Right.
Say that.
So look, I want to thank everybody that tuned in. For those that came in late, remember we had a great discussion earlier about Ramirez Tater and the Wilder situation, winning the arbitration against Fury. You guys can check that out. Check out the Hanna Gabriels interview and also La Bandera Roja, David Benavidez, who's extremely easy to interview, unbelievable, and Hanna's great as well. So shout out to her. This is D-Style Boxing, guys. Make sure you tune in tomorrow on Chief Funky's channel for Uncensored. Okay, make sure you tune in for that. We have Rick Glacier on, so there you go, and possibly another guest. We just can't confirm it because that guest hasn't confirmed it. All right, and here we like to confirm things. All right, and then of course I believe Milcar will be on there with us, and maybe Beeb. I don't know, man. Maybe Beeb will show up or something. I don't know.
Confirmed.
And then, of course, the round table. We'll go more thorough into the Ramirez Tater thing, give a more thorough breakdown for that, because it is a big fight. It is a big weekend. We thank everybody. Shout out to Blood Boxing. Let the bell ring. Tracy Boxer Girl and all of you. We most appreciate, from the Guido to the Stefan to the Joe Lopez 40 ounce. That is hashtag HCP for Spanish Cause and Panic. We're out of here. This is D-Style Boxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out.